Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how I drew this realistic bison and share some of my favourite tips to help you make your pastel drawings look more lifelike and textured. So I'm working on Clairefontaine Pastelmat. It's my go-to paper. It really does grip pigment beautifully and lets your sort of layers build layer after layer without overfilling the surface too quickly. So before I started with the pencils, I laid down a base using PanPastels. I wasn't being too sort of precious or strict there, just blocking in the shapes of and the way that the direction of the fur was going. A mix of sort of browns was in there. It's a great way to loosen up, fill the tooth evenly and take away that fear of the sort of the paper. Some artists like to work in sections. I mostly sort of work all over, sort of create an underpainting if you like, and it sets the mood for what I can see later on, but that choice is up to you. You may work better just working section by section. So once I put down the pastel, or I should say the PanPastels, I switched to the pencils. So I'm using mainly Carbothello, Faber-Castell Pit and some Derwents as well. So I started by refining the bison's sort of fur, went in with my black Pitt pencil there, just sort of created the shapes that I could see the fur going in. Always follow the reference photo and the direction how the fur sits, but don't look at the reference photo intensely and accurately. If you sort of copy literally hair by hair, it's just not going to look right. Use some of your own license, as it were, and just go with the flow. Sometimes nobody's going to look at that original reference photo, so just enjoy and just sort of relax a little bit on that side of things. So obviously I've created the fur line, I've gone around the muzzle, the curve of the horns. Now the horns, I used coloured pencils on this one, not pastel pencils, but you again choose your own medium. I just wanted some sort of sharpness within the horns, so I decided to use coloured pencils. It's not something I would always do, depends on the subject, but I just wanted to have a look and see what the horns look like with coloured pencils. Pleased with the outcome there, so that was great. So when I build up the fur, I do use a light pressure and sort of short flicking strokes following the direction of the growth. Real fur isn't straight, it's, you know, you have to sort of overlap, create randomness within the fur texture. Blend softly. You can use a cotton bud or paper stumps. You can use your hands as well, but just try not to smudge the pastel. Just sort of let it gently push into the paper, so because it helps the next layer sits better and stops the colours from sort of turning chalky. Realism, I would say, depends more on values than colour. So instead of worrying about which brown to use, ask, is the area lighter or darker than what's next to it? If your lights are darks and darks are right, your drawing will feel real. A quick tip I use is take a photo, turn it black and white and compare it with your reference. Sometimes we don't go dark enough, and that's what can stop the work from popping off the page. Edges are just as important as well as values. Keep the outline of the body softer so the fur melts into shadow, and sort of sharpen around the eyes, nose and horns to draw attention where you can. As I'm drawing, I always rest my hand on a clean sheet of paper to avoid that smudging, and when I'm almost finished, I switch to my Pitt pastel pencils for crisp final details, those little flyaway hairs, but I always stop before overworking. Realism isn't about copying every hair, it's about suggesting enough for the brain to fill in the rest. So if you remember these three things, proportions, get those right early on. Focus on your values more than the colours that you're choosing, although they are important, but values are more important. Keep a balance between sharp and soft texture. as well. And above all, enjoy. Building realism does take time, but it's a mindful process. So I love that moment when just time slows down and you can enter flow. And that's the best feeling, that's the best part about it. So if you'd like to follow along, please do like and subscribe to my page. It's just starting up, so I've got a few tutorials to add as yet, but I'd love to follow along. If you found it helpful, please do let me know. I'd love to hear any feedback. All my tutorials will be perfect for beginners looking to build confidence and skill. So thanks so much for watching today. Take care, enjoy the process, and I hope to see you in the next one.